All right, shalom, shalom. All right, before I get started, I want to give all praise and honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rakakodash. All right, double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom, Wakasala, Habakyar, which means peace and mercy to the elect throughout the four corners wherever you may be. All right, I'm the brother Amar from the branch of GMS Cleveland, coming back at you with another video. Lord willing to be edifying to whomever may be watching. And we'll just probably make this a part two, Lord willing, you know what I'm saying? Part two lesson. But just wanted to speak about some history regarding Judea, all right, because I believe in one of my recent videos, I spoke about some of the history I believe regarding a little bit of Judea, all right, how you had a lot of sellouts, and not just sellouts, but you have to understand the time frame and what was going on during that time. All right, like, because Judea was a Roman province, meaning it was controlled by Rome. All right, and of course they allowed the Israelites that was existing to have a certain level of control. Autonomy. But all in all, they were like tributaries, so you can understand. Give me 1 second. Salakia. All right, so going back to the point, let me get into the history. So, all right, when you go into the history, all right, this is going to read. It's like I did a lot of moving around, man. But give me 1 minute. All right, so this says Bible Hub, and some of the history about Judea. This is topical encyclopedia. It says historical background. It says first century Judea was a region of significant historical and religious importance. As is situated in the eastern part of the Roman Empire, this period was marked by a Roman occupation. It says which began in 63 BC. Excuse me. It says when General Pompey captured Jerusalem. It says the Roman influence was pervasive. It says affecting political, social, and religious life. It says Judea was a client kingdom under the Herodian dynasty. It says with Herod the Great ruling from 37 BC to around 4 BC. All right, and Yahushua was born around the time, or right before, Herod the Great had died. All right, so that gives you the time frame when Yahushua came on scene. All right, so just wanted to get that part out the way. It says after Herod's death, his kingdom was divided among his sons. It says Judea eventually became a Roman province, and this is in AD 6 or 6 AD. So we look up a Roman province. All right, it says Roman province. The Roman province was the administrative regions of ancient Rome outside Rome, Italy, that were controlled by the Romans under the Roman Republic. It says, and later the Roman Empire. It says each province was ruled by a Roman appointed as governor. All right, and you look at the region where where Yahushua mainly had his ministry and dwelt at for pretty much the entirety of his time he was here on earth. It was like Galilee, Judea, that area, all right, and that was dictated and controlled by who? One of Herod the Great's son, known as Herod Antipas. All right, so in fact, look at this. Like I said, I probably have to make this. Definitely have to probably make this a part two because this is a lot of good stuff. Anyway, um, so you see the same thing that you see now. All right, when you look at the reason why Jake does not have a foothold in the UN. All right, or there's no Jake rulers over these areas. It's because it's the same playbook that they're running off the Roman Empire. You know what I'm saying? The Roman Empire, when it was obviously during the later stages of the Roman Empire, you had Jake get up in there and start ruling. Had certain Roman senators and Caesars and this and the third, but early on, the Roman Empire was dictated and ruled by Edomites, all right, who called themselves Romans, all right. But like I said, you see the same thing today when you look at turn on TV, who's ruling these areas, all right. Whether it's mayors, governors, presidents, chief councilmen, they're controlled and dictated primarily by Edomites, if not Edomites, other heathen. All right, all to keep you Israelites under control. All right, and maintain. All right, so there would be no uproars. There would be no gathering. There would be no you returning back to your heritage. All right, because remember, let me get this real quick, man, because I don't want to go through this lesson without getting a scripture. That's good. It's damn good. It's the book of Psalms 83, verse 1. It says a song or song of Asaph. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Alright. It says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. The crafty counsel that they have taken against our people is what ultimately eliminates us. If you want to sum it up. Alright, they doing that by various means, whether it's Planned Parenthood, these food deserts that they put in you Israelites neighborhoods, the guns, the constant liquor stores, all right, that sells cheap liquor in there. All right, because ain't nothing wrong with drinking, strong drink, but they put a lot of chemicals and all these bottom shelf, items, all right, or goods, all right. Also, you can destroy each other, man. All right, so you can get weakened. All right, your pineal gland, the whole 9 yards, everything, your senses, all that will be operating on a base level. All right, so the crafty counsel that they're taking against the hidden ones being you Israelites, is to ultimately get rid of you. All right, they want that birthright. So it says, verse 4, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance, man. All right, and that's just one of the major things that that these people have done, all right, and are still doing to this very day. That's why the point I would mention about the reason why you have Edomites, primarily Edomites or heathens, throughout these areas, that's ruling over you. All right, because it's the same way they had it back then. All right, so it says anyway. Political climate. The political climate of first century Judea was characterized by tensions and unrest. The Roman authorities imposed heavy taxes and maintained strict control over the region. And this is some of the things you see to this very day, man. All right, you work a BS job, which you see heavy taxation, and that's what caused the uproars right before they revolted. You know what I'm saying? Right before the 70 AD, right before 70 AD happened, which led to the destruction of the temple, second temple. Um, you had what? You had that massive tax being put out, and that was pretty much led to the uproars, and Jake pretty much got fed up. I believe it happened around 66 AD. So it says anyway, there was the heavy taxing going on, which you see now. All right, and then it says strict control over the region, and you see that strict control being enforced uh, um, by these Edomites, man. All right, day in and day out, man. There's new laws being passed. All right, Esau is utilizing this technology to pretty much create with with the woman named Catherine Austin Fitz, what she said. She described it as being with a prison planet. All right, and this technology that they're coming out, even with the 6G, it will be used even much more in in a very controlled manner. All right, to like I said, really lock down this place, which we call Earth. All right, and whatever region you dwell in, especially here in Babylon the Great. So it says often leading to resentment among the Israelite population. The presence of Roman soldiers and the appointment of Roman governors, such as Pontius Pilate, further ex, uh, exacerbated tensions. This is the Israelite people. Whenever you see that word Jewish, you're really supposed to say Israelite. There's no such thing as Jewish. It says the Israelite people long for autonomy, as says in the restoration of the Davidic kingdom, which fueled messianic expectations, man. And this is what you see right now. All right, you see what you see. You see tensions rising from Jake, because Jake longs to have what their own autonomy, their own representatives, their own say so. And Jake has always been like that. All right, even during the time of Saul. All right, or right after Saul, they matter of fact, it's like right before Saul became king, Jake desired a king. All right, and that's when the Lord gave what they gave. Yahweh Shemashah gave our nation Saul. All right, which Saul was not the first king. All right, it was actually Moses, but it's another story because it tell you that in scriptures. All right, but anyway, um, so the Lord gave them Saul, but it tell you the reason why, because they really envied how the heathen had kings. So Jake wanted to be like the heathens. All right, so the Lord gave them a king, which was Saul. All right, and then in return, he turned out to rule over them, with a harsh, methods. All right, but anyway, it says there's like people long for autonomy. It says in the restoration of the Davidic kingdom. All right, the house of David. You know what I'm saying? Or the it was a David's the throne of David. All right, Elder Yashwan, he speaks about that a lot. It says which fueled messianic expectations. All right, hold on. The messianic expectations is for what? The Messiah, also known as the Anointed. All right, to return. All right, and to deliver them. All right, and it's gonna go through that. All right, so let me jump through. That's the social structure. The social structure of Judea was heretical. It says with a clear distinction between the ruling class, religious leaders, and the common people. The Sanhedrin, a council of Israelite leaders, held significant authority in religious and legal matters. The high priest, a position often influenced by Roman appointment, played a crucial role in maintaining order and mediating between the Israelite people, the Israelite population, and Roman authorities. Um, it's another one right here. That says messianic expectations. The first century was a time of heightened messianic expectation among the Israelite people. Prophecies from the Hebrew scriptures, such as those found in Isaiah and Daniel, fueled hopes for a Messiah who would deliver Israel from foreign oppression and establish Yahweh's kingdom. This expectation is reflected in the New Testament. This is where figures like John the Baptist and Yahweh of Nazareth are seen in light of these messianic hopes. It says in the Gospel of Matthew, the genealogy of Yahushua is traced back to David, emphasizing his messianic lineage. So let me get this real quick. Let me end it on this. Let's say like I make this a part 2. Another thing, like the scripture, like the history I was just going into, during that time of Judea, they was expecting the Messiah to return. All right, which he did return at that time, but that wasn't the time that they were looking for. They didn't know that he was going to have to make a second coming. All right, which that's the time that we're looking for now. Matthew 1:21. It says. It says Matthew 1:21. It says, and she shall bring forth a son. She's talking about Mary, Yahushua's mother. It says, and thou shalt call his name Yahushai. It says, for he shall save his people from their sins, man. It says, now all this was done that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, it says, behold, a virgin shall be with child, and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is Yahweh with us. All right, and it tells you about the Yahushua eventually, how you get the prophecy concerning Yahushua. Let's see that what will happen, what will take place once he did return. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why they were looking for the Messiah to return. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah 9:6, it says, for unto us a child is born, unto us a child is given, and the government shall rest upon his shoulder. It says, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. The increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end upon the throne of David, that Davidic kingdom that they were looking for, that I was reading about, and upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment, it says, and with justice from henceforth even forever. The zeal of the Lord of hosts, it says, will perform this, man. All right, and this is what our people have been longing for, waiting for. All right, even during that time when it was in the Roman Empire, which now we're in Rome 2.0, as the apostles and elder brothers call it. It's just Rome revised. All right, damn near same. Well, not damn near. It's the same people that's coming back in reincarnation, doing the same shit to us. All right, oppressing the hell out of us and pretty much being who they always have been, which are devils. All right, but that same way they was looking for the return of Yahushua, Messiah, we're looking for the return right now. Same souls, all right, hoping and desiring for the same things. Just like how you got the same wicked niggas doing the same wicked things. All right, so like I said, I'll probably make a part 2 of this. A little bit more history to bring out, you know what I'm saying? But if not, if spirit, don't have it to where I don't make the part 2, Lord willing, edifying. With that, I'm going to say, shalom.